There's a popular misconception. They keep saying that during the collapse era, that the Maya disappeared. Some people say that the Maya people have many different calendars. I prefer to say that the Maya calendar has many different levels and many different parts, and they all work together harmoniously.
The ancient Mayas created an intricately complex calendrical system developed from painstaking observation of celestial bodies over generations of time. The Mayas used the calendar to predict coming events, such as seasons, eclipses, and storms. It was also capable of predicting events thousands of years into the future. On December 21st, 2012, the fifth and final world age of the Mayan calendar will end.
What I'm going to give you is actually a theory that has been proposed by a fellow that's, I think, is very attuned to the Maya way of thinking. His name is John Major Jenkins. And his theory is that they designed their long count to end exactly on the winter solstice of the year 2012. Of course, the Mayas didn't call it 2012. They didn't have the Gregorian calendar. They called it year zero because they felt that their cycle was going to end on that day and the whole new cycle was going to start with day 1, day 2, day 3. Now, the cycle that we're in now, that we're about to see the end of, started around 3114 BC, several thousand years before they were there. And they felt that on August 11, 3114 BC, this particular cycle began. We believe that the calendar is very closely associated with Maya observation of heavenly bodies. To really understand this, you have to first image what the Milky Way galaxy is. It's this big mass, this kind of like a circular whirlpool-shaped mass of stars and planets and all kinds of heavenly bodies. We don't get to see it like this when we look up into the sky, because to be able to see it like this, we would have to be over it, and we're not. We're in it. We're right here in this spot. As we look in at the Milky Way galaxy, what you see is a side view. The Mayas saw this long, luminous band with a thick center as a kind of a maternal, female, pregnant entity. So what happens is that this entity would rise from behind the horizon like this. And then later on, the sun would come up behind it and blot it out. Eventually, little by little, the rising would seem to come a little closer together. And then maybe several hundred years later, it was happening so much closer that they got the point. They got the point that the sun and the Milky Way galaxy were actually coming closer over a period of thousands of years. And they realized that eventually they were going to come in, they were going to actually rise together. From our point of view, the sun and the galaxy were going to be aligned like that. They devised a calendar that would focus on that moment, year zero of the next cycle. All this would come to this enormous 5,200 year cycle to end on the year that we called December 21st, 2012. And that was big deal. To them, whenever that is going to happen, we're all going to be dead and gone, they said. But our descendants are going to see this. It's going to be a big deal to them. We got to write this down. We're going to create a whole cosmology around it. And so they did. They created this long count and they calculated it so that it would end exactly on that day, which to them would be like a new rebirth, a new impregnation, a new insemination, a re-insemination, and a beginning of a whole new era.
Aquí vamos a empezar con los binales. Los binales los hemos sacado de la calendaria maya. Aquí tenemos 20 días y aquí a cada cuadra es un día. Aquí en este lado tenemos 10 días y aquí 10 son 20 días. Pero tenemos 18 huinales. Los 18 huinales lo pongo aquí en esta sobra. Aquí tengo un tun. Un tun tengo 360 días. Pero no solo un tun tenemos 20 tun. Aquí tengo los 20 tun. Es un catún. Un catún tiene 7200 días. Este catún, no solo un catún tenemos 20 catún. Aquí tengo los 20 catún. Y lo ponemos en esta caja. Aquí tengo un bactún. Un bactún tiene 400 años. Tenemos 13 bactún. Aquí veamos, formamos como un sol. Aquí tenemos un sol. Un sol tiene 5200 años. Y tenemos 5 sol. Los 5 sol tiene 26,000 años. El quinto sol que estamos terminando ya el 2012 es una era que ya se va a terminar y va a empezar una era